You want to talk about dog slicker brushes? Let's talk about dog slicker brushes. So have you ever walked into a pet store thinking, okay, I'm gonna need a brush for my dog, but you have no clue what type of brush to get, just that you know you need a brush, some type of tool to groom your dog. You walk into that pet store and you're instantly overwhelmed by the sheer number of grooming tools available to you. Long bristles, short bristles, rake, do you need a slicker brush? Do you need a comb? Like big brushes, small brushes? Do you need short bristles, long bristles, like flexible bristles, rounded heads? Like, oh my goodness, there are so many. And this is just slicker brushes. But you're forgetting one thing. How does that brush feel on your dog's skin? Now, I've been grooming my dogs since I was 14. It is nearly half a century ago. So I've been grooming my dogs for a while. I've learned quite a bit about brushes and tools and grooming techniques over the years, and I'm happy to share them with you. One big thing that I've learned is that you want to hold your dog's fur up while you brush the opposite direction. So you're gonna hold the fur away like this, and then with the brush, you're going to go in the opposite direction. That allows you to get down to the dog's skin to groom out all of those knots and tangles and matted areas. All of the slicker brushes that I'll talk about are linked below. Now, I purchased all of these brushes with my own money, with the exception of one that I'll talk about in just a little bit. And I'm not sponsored by any of these brands at all. These were all purchased by me from my own pocketbook. They're brushes that work and work extremely well. They cause zero pain to your dog. They can be used with little to no effort from you, which is key, especially if you want to get through your dog quickly. You know, if you don't have a lot of time and you want to get them brushed and looking poof, slicker brushes are the way to go. All of these brushes right here require zero to little effort from you because the brushes actually do the work for you if you have the right type of brush. Rebecca from A Personal Touch Grooming Salon sent me this brush right here, which is from Ryan's Pets, and this is available in my link below. It has some grippies on the back of the brush, on the front of the brush, both up here and down here. And then on the back, it has these cute little paw prints. Now this brush stands about a ½ an inch tall, and it has these little white dots on it. The white dots are from the manufacturing process. In order to make the brush feel smoother to your dog, they dip it into like a liquid material that hardens. And when it hardens, it forms those little balls on the end. Now you do have to be careful with the little balls because they can easily pop off. And when they pop off, that reveals a razor sharp bristle or tine. This brush is an okay brush for you if you're looking for affordability. I do have some other brushes that are as affordable as this guy, but they have rounded edges to them. So then therefore you won't have to worry about the white stuff popping off and scratching your dog. We started a website. It's at yetisplace.dog. Yes, you heard that right, yetisplace.dog, just like what Yeti is. He's a dog, D-O-G, yetisplace.dog. When you sign up for our free email list, you'll get a free guide written by Yeti and I on how to help your dog stop barking. Our email list also has additional fun treats and tricks for your dog training, grooming, puppy training tips, and so much more. And did I mention it's free? Now the other slicker brushes that I bought, that I personally paid for out of my own money, and that I really like, that Yeti really likes because they feel nice and soft to him and they don't irritate his skin at all. These three brushes right here are Christensen brushes. These are the gold standard for slicker brushes. Now this is the Big G slicker brush, and this is the Big K slicker brush, and the Baby G slicker brush. They're all really high quality, like the best of the best. Now what makes them the gold standard, first of all, you're gonna have a nice, like, it's a grippy surface that's really comfortable. It has an S-shaped curve in it, so it easily accommodates fitting your hand in it really nicely. The tines on this guy are long. They are just over an inch long. The Big G, which this one is, has a lot of tines on it. They go out and then up. And then the bristles themselves, the tines, the metal pieces right here, they are rounded before they're put in here. So there's no white stuff at all on these brushes. They are all metal, and the tips of them have been evenly rounded off. So they're nice and soft to your dog. Additionally, these brushes, they work. They work with little effort on your behalf. Other slicker brushes that aren't Christensen brushes, you have to actually put in elbow grease to work them, because they're not designed as well as these. Now the Big G, of course, has a lot of tines on it. The other one that has fewer tines, this is the Big K slicker brush. It's the same size as the Big G. The difference is that this one, the black, the Big K slicker brush, has fewer tines on it. The Big K, because they're more widely spaced, is going to be a great brush for using the first brush run through. These bristles, they are super, super flexible. Like, look at how flexible they are. They move really easily, which means that if you catch a mat on your dog, it's gonna move. It won't drag that mat through the skin, meaning that there's gonna be less pain for your dog. And it nicely gets rid of that mat. Same with on these other two brushes. The Big G moves and flexes really easily because the base of these brushes is more flexible. Like, it squishes down. This is the Baby G brush, which is really nice if you have a smaller dog, or if you have a big dog like Yeti and you're looking to get into those smaller, tighter areas like behind their ears, armpits, their legs. This brush works really well because it's a smaller size, so you're able to more easily get into those areas. The bristles are the same length. You know, they're gonna be just over an inch long. They're going to be just as flexible as the Big G and the Big K. These brushes literally do all the work for you. You just simply have to hang on to your dog and let the brush go to work. By hanging on, I mean just like holding the fur up and then just moving the brush. I mean, it's amazing compared to a brand that you would get at the pet store. Like, these guys are amazing. They do the work for you. These are from #1 All Systems. Now, they have a shiny background on the back, so it's like a mirror finish, so you could actually like hold it up to your dog and say, look at your beautiful fuzziness. Just kidding. So this is the medium and this is the large. Now, these #1 All Systems have the exact same type of bristles that the Christensen have, which are rounded before they're put into the base. Base of these brushes is not quite as flexible as the base of the Christensen brushes are, because this guy is a flat. Sweetie, come here, Yeti, Yeti. So my buddy Yeti has gotten bored and he has walked away. So I had to go get Yeti because he wandered away. He was like, okay, I'm done here. Goodbye. The #1 All Systems brushes, they are, like, if you'll notice here, this brush is not quite as long as the Christensen. Like, it has shorter tines on it. These are about a 1/2 inch, and it's also on a flat base. Now, these are great brushes if you're grooming, say, a shorter furred dog, you know, not with thick, luscious, like really, really thick fur like Yeti does, and really, really long fur like Yeti's fur. If you have a shorter furred dog, these are gonna be great brushes. They're also really nice brushes to use for grooming in those smaller areas. Behind their ears, if you have a Sammy or another really long furred dog, this brush right here, the medium, this is gonna be really nice for getting behind their ear, for getting on their paws, and then under their armpits and on the backs of their legs, like on those shorter furred areas. You can even get their head using one of these brushes. See, I'll use the bigger brush because the fur on their head is shorter. When you're brushing their face, you do want to be really gentle because you're around their eyes and they sometimes move around, so just be very, very gentle when you're brushing them. Then I also like using this guy for around their face right here, because that fur does shed, and Yeti's been going through epic shedding periods of this fur right around his snout. area, like on his cheeks. This brush has been awesome for helping get rid of that. Now, the difference between the price of these brushes versus the Christensen brushes, these are going to be as affordable as the Ryan's Pet brush. These are wonderful, wonderful, cost-effective brushes that are equally as good as the Christensen brushes, but they're sold at such a much more comfortable price. So the #1 All Systems brushes and the Christensen brushes are often sold at dog shows. Like if you go to a dog show, you'll see vendors hanging out around the dog show area. Christensen #1 All Systems always have sites set up around there so that people can buy their brushes, because these brushes are used for show dogs. Yeti used to always dislike when I would brush him using any other brand of brush because it hurt him. Sometimes when I brush him, you know, the brush slips. With the Christensen brushes and the #1 All Systems brushes, it doesn't matter if it hits my leg or my arms, you know, it won't scratch and make me bleed. The other brands of brushes that I've used in the past that were not either one of these brands of brushes, they would always make me bleed and they would always cause extreme pain. So imagine what it feels like to have your dog's full body brushed with one of those Christensen, a non-#1 All Systems brush, how painful that is for your dog. That's why having a brush with rounded bristles really makes the job effective, helps your dog enjoy being brushed because it feels really good against their skin. And Yeti literally falls asleep when I'm brushing him now. He never used to do that with any other type of brush. We have all types of doggy content listed for you on our email list at yetisplace.dog. We'll bark at you next time.